that didn't smell. The look on his face told me that this would not be easy. Didn't matter. I had to make the best of it. "Ah, Minister. Good to see you," I said. "Welcome to our lab. This is my assistant, Fen." I thought Fen might announce her full name. What could Fen be short for? She cleared her throat instead. "Worth a shot, I guess." "Smith," I concluded.
"Hello," she said. He never spoke. The minister smiled, nodding in Fen's direction. His eyes wandered around the platform, as if he expected to find beakers full of colored water boiling over Bunsen burners, while dry ice fog floated over the floor. The minister looked at the CCP, and I knew he thought we were a couple of amateurs. I can't say I blame him. The way we put it together with golf clubs and all appeared random, but he had to understand the reason behind that. I felt like a school kid hoping for an A+ on a science project. He touched one of the golf clubs and looked at me. "We're a little underfunded," I said.
"So it seems,"
he said.
"This is it, is it?"
"Well, in theory."
"In theory?"
I looked at Fen.
"With the restrictions placed on us by the Ministry of Science,"
she said.
"we are not allowed to start it until one of the ministry's representatives is present."
"And that," I said, "would be you."
"But the professor's math is correct. This machine should work."
"Let's not waste time then,"
said the minister. He hoped for an early lunch.
"Let's see what she can do."
Fen and I exchanged looks. The moment we'd been working all those years for had arrived. It occurred to me we did not know if it even worked or not. In fact, my understanding of how it would manifest itself remained, even at this late date, incomplete. I took a deep breath, crossed my fingers, and activated the CCP for the first time. We had power. Good. It's embarrassing to run around trying to figure out why something wasn't working only to realize you forgot to plug it in. We've all done that. The CCP began making a light noise. No harm in a little noise.
"How did you create such a remarkable device on such a small budget?"
asked the minister.
"I mean, our world, such as it is, suffers from a pitiful lack of imagination that I find tiring. Now you're telling me I'm mistaken about that?"
Fen could talk to anyone. It had always been one thing that I admired about her. She kept the minister entertained as she explained what we had accomplished and how we did it. "Professor Adams believes that it's not the equipment in your hands that matters. It's the equipment between your ears that counts."
"Yes, but what you've done, or say you've done, that's incredible."
"The very least, and we did it."
I came aboard after Brooke. The professor discovered the nexus.
It soon became obvious that the minister did not know the nature of the contents of our file folder. The same folder that he, himself, had handed over to the Archbishop and would have explained everything. Fen reduced her vocabulary to a more remedial level for him.
The nexus is a bioorganic energy stream.
Bioorganic? You mean, it's alive? A living energy source?
He asked. Why didn't he just read the file? Yeah, weird, huh?
I'm understanding,
he said. Did I imagine it, or did the CCP get louder?
I'd like to see it work. It is safe, isn't it?
Sure. Why not? I slammed down the lever, the 9-iron, before anyone could object. According to my instruments, everything fell well within our safety parameters. But I wanted to mess with him. Okay, hold on to your hats.
This is it,
said Fen as the CCP began purring like a kitten. A loud, dangerous-sounding kitten. I hoped our numbers were right, because the sound of the CCP had made me lose confidence. I stepped away from it for safety. But truth be told, if it blew up, there would be no minimum safe distance. At any rate, the noise continued to build to a deafening crescendo and silence And I mean dead silence. Followed at the snap of a finger. Okay. That took me by surprise. I loved that no gigantic boom happened, but it left me staring into space expecting something miraculous that never materialized. I felt a little silly. Jumping back to the CCP, I needed to find out what hadn't happened that should have.
Professor.
The minister began. I tried to stall him. Hold on. Let me check my settings. Please don't say it. Please, please, please. If you say it, I'll hit you. I swear I will.
Nothing happened.
He said it. I didn't hit him. I should have. But I didn't. Reminding myself he's only a government minister. And that means it's part of his job to state the obvious from time to time. I know that. I tried to speak with a calm, even voice. But it didn't work. I sounded irritated. Out of nowhere, I felt like throwing up. I doubled over with a sharp, excruciating inferno in my stomach. It felt as if tendrils, like razor wire, shot throughout my abdomen, slicing bare every raw nerve ending. It all passed in a matter of a second or two, leaving me confused. I thought, maybe a radiation leak. But no one else seemed affected. Something odd struck me. In that 1 or 2 seconds, my mind snapped onto an image of the door leading into my dorm room at the university. No reason existed why I should have thought about that door. Or any door at all. It had no emotional or personal significance to me. The only door at the university that affected me at all was the door that led to the crawlspace under the dorm. We all feared that door. Campus security would lock us in that dark pit for days if we misbehaved. The dirt floor crawled and squirmed with spiders and insects feeding off one another while rats bit at the girls' legs.
Professor.
I heard Fen's voice and returned to reality. Not now. I'm recalibrating the...
Professor.
I looked up. Yes, I would attach importance to it. And a little confusion. I walked over to Fen without taking my eyes off of it. As I passed the minister, I noted he couldn't take his eyes off it either.
Is that it?
He asked. I guess so. It's...
Well.
Fen said with more excitement than she could contain. Sure enough, there it hung, suspended in mid-air. An aperture.
You sound upset.
Fen said. No. No. It's... I mean, I wasn't expecting an aperture.
What's wrong with an aperture?
Well, nothing. I suppose. It's a good aperture, I said, wondering why he seemed offended. But it's only an aperture. Little disappointing. That's all.
Disappointing. You created a portal to another universe. That's all. Good reason to be disappointed.
Well, that's the thing, I said. Let me pause here. How could I explain I wanted all those lights, special effects, and freaky wormhole things I saw in all the movies? Instead, I got this stupid aperture. If I had told them what I had expected, I would have sounded like such a dweeb. Still, I couldn't stop from expressing my disappointment. It's not a portal. I mean, it's only an aperture. An ordinary metal diaphragm. Same as any camera lens. Nothing special. Fen seemed to regard the aperture for a moment. If anyone there could have understood me, it would be her.
Yeah, I guess I see what you mean. Kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah, kind of, I said. It's not even a wobbly, watery circular thingy. It's... thwack. Now, the suddenness of the noise startled me, but not as much as what I stared at. Fen and the minister seemed shocked. I felt better knowing I wasn't the only one dumbfounded. 2 apertures. 2 identical OLED screens. Each with its own aperture. I wasn't expecting this.
Where? Where's the other one lead?
The minister asked. I don't know. Thwack. 4 screens, all looking alike, were now surrounding us.
Brooke?
Fen needn't have said more. The tone in her voice told me how nervous she had become. Thwack. 8 screens. And what the HELL kind of noise is thwack anyway? As with most things, a pattern soon developed. They are doubling every 3 thwack seconds, I said as I ran back to the CCP to do what I could to interpret the contradictory readouts it spat at me. As I tried to find an explanation, an endless number of apertures fell down on my lab like rain. The number of OLED screens and the increasing speed at which they appeared took my breath away. The screens created a sphere around the platform. Our equations had predicted something like this would manifest to protect us from the energy of the Nexus. It formed an island within the sea of Nexian energy that surrounded us now that the platform had shifted from our reality into the heart of the Nexus itself. We now stood in the center of an infinite sphere of OLED screens floating all around us, each with its own unique aperture. A readout on the CCP got my attention. It shined a bright red.
What's going on?
Asked the minister. I don't. I said as I tried in vain to make sense of everything. The energy levels on the CCP spiked. We're all going to die. The idea had been half expressed in my thoughts when the levels dropped to normal. The screens stopped appearing. Everything became still. The entire world had paused. None of us moved or even dared to breathe. Except me. I smiled. It all made sense to me now. How could it have been any different? Ha! I said. It had both the intended effect of dispelling my built-up energy and the unintended effect of scaring the crap out of both Fen and the minister. Of course. This is incredible. Sensing something could explode and kill us all. The minister panicked.
What? Of course what?
Think about it, I said. Why does a parallel universe exist? The minister became sheepish.
I know little about quantum physics.
Fen and I exchanged looks. Did he say that?
I thought you were the Deputy Minister of Science.
I am.
We couldn't help ourselves. Both Fen and I stared at him.
I'm the political officer to the ministry.
The minister assured us of his importance.
I make certain that everything conforms to the Church's doctrines.
How can you not get frustrated with a bureaucracy that promotes a man who knows nothing of science to run the Ministry of Science? Knowing the potential of me strangling the minister increased with every passing second. Fen stepped in.
Minister, remember what I said about the 5th dimension. Universes split from one another every time something happens. We see one outcome in our universe, but all outcomes play out. We see only the outcome that affects our universe.
The minister's face sunk into confusion. Explaining the general theory of relativity to a chimpanzee would have been more productive. It all made me want to jump over the CCP and throttle the Deputy Minister of Science. How many people on Earth? I asked. The minister became a deer caught in the headlights. Yes, I changed subjects. Try to keep up.
In the latest census.
He began. My impatience must have shown on my face, because I got an answer.
7 billion.
And how long have humans been here? I kept the pressure up. Why? Because I could. It's rare you get the pleasure of making government officials squirm.
According to official doctrine. About 6,000 years.
Official doctrine. Give me a break. No. How long? I mean, in all honesty. I glared at him.
The unofficial answer.
He began. I swear to God, getting information from the government is impossible.
I've heard. In an unofficial capacity. Of course. A rumor that we've been around for about 1 million years.
Wow, that long. 1 million years. Written history doesn't go back that far. Why? 1 million questions shot through my mind. Fen's voice called me back to the world.
Professor?
Yes. Where was I? I looked around. I hadn't zoned out for long. A lot of decisions. That's a lot of decisions, Minister. I mean, Think about it. How many decisions did you make yourself so far today alone? Now imagine 7 billion people doing the same thing for 1,000,000 years.
And on each parallel Earth, the same process is happening.
Fen chimed in. Right,
So, it's not only one world you connected with.
said the minister. And the gorilla has learned it to sign.
You connected with all of them.
An infinite number of worlds, I said. It's infinity to the infinity. If. I shot a look over at Fen. She smiled and rolled her eyes. Oh, come on, that was clever.
Professor,
He said.
before I make my report, hadn't you better open it and find out what's out there?
Fen and I looked at one another. We spent years of scrounging parts, writing software, and developing the most advanced scientific theory in history. Soon it would all come together. We only had to open an aperture and step through. What would we see? What we were about to do far outstripped landing a man on the moon. And the responsibility for it coming to fruition belonged to me. And me alone. I stopped, looked over at Fen, and hesitated. Not out of fear, but out of realization. We were the ones responsible for it coming to fruition. Go ahead. Pick one, I said.
Me? Oh?
She said, with a growing smile on her face.
Okay.
She turned to the screens, and trembling with excitement, examined them.
That one.
Fen pointed to the first screen that had appeared. I saw the minister watching me as I went back to the CCP. I designed it to be easy to operate. A mouse click here, a switch toggled there, a spinny thing that spun around, and all the screens revolved around the platform. The one that Fen had picked situated itself behind the vertical metal circle. We called the circle the portal. I lowered the 9 iron to lock that universe and that aperture in sync. We heard a large metal latch slamming into place. Where that sound came from, we didn't know. Steam or smoke whispered from between the blades of the aperture as I checked the settings. Yes, a breathable atmosphere waited on the other side. The same atmospheric pressure. The temperature didn't seem to require warmer clothing. Beyond that, I didn't know what to expect. I flicked the switch, turned 2 of the dials to make opening the aperture safe. Fen and I both stepped into the glass tunnel. At the far end stood a door that would lead us into a new reality. Through the glass we could see the blue-white energy of the Nexus. Cool. Watching it ebb and flow mesmerized me. Fen pulled me back into the real world. We looked at one another, grinned and bolted to the door. We stopped in front of it. I took a deep breath. In the front of us stood the door to my dorm room. Had the Nexus searched my mind for an image that I would understand? That would have required a thought process and an understanding. Was the Nexus a cognizant living thing? A telepathic living thing? I explored this amazing possibility when the minister's voice brought me back.
Anytime.
He said. Ready? I said.
Yeah.
She said. I gestured for Fen to open the door. She understood the historic moment that I handed her. Fen paused, shaking her head.
I picked the aperture. You open it.
My heart jumped. I placed my hand on hers and turned the latch. The door opened, and I looked through. Oh, this is disappointing.
What's wrong?
Asked the minister. Was he still here?
Nothing. She's disappointed there's no wormhole or vortex or something.
Fen assured him. She knew me so well. What, you're not?
A little.
She confessed. The minister hopped around like a short kid at a parade trying to see over the shoulders of the adults.
What do you see?
Well, come here. What was I? His mother. He walked over and stared out the door. Fen followed as I stepped through onto the balcony, overlooking a huge cityscape. The city seemed to extend as far as the horizon. They had to be the tallest buildings I had ever seen. Many of them appeared quite thin, and they all had huge vertical windows. If I hadn't known better, I would have said the skyscrapers were stainless steel. Some had a reddish hue to them. Others were green or blue. I realized they spanned all the colors of the spectrum and made even more beautiful by the glorious sunset shining its warmth across the city. Sunset. Sunrise. This world might not rotate at all, bathing the city in perpetual twilight. Who knew? I didn't. But I wanted to discover everything I could about every world. Oh, look down there, I said, pointing to the street. It had to be over 100 stories below us. The minister looked before staggering back onto the tunnel floor. Thinking he must be having a heart attack, I ran CPR procedures through my head as he fell to the floor. Fen and I ran to his side.
Are you trying to make a fool of me?
He said. You're the one working for the ministry. Most likely. It had been just vertigo.
You opened a door to the outside, that's all.
That's not possible.
Fen said.
Why not?
Because, I said. Our lab is 5 floors underground. Underfunded, remember? The minister looked at us wide-eyed, before turning his gaze through the open door. I closed it, not wanting a reoccurrence of the vertigo. That must have been the first time he realized we weren't crazy. It made me wonder if I might have been too hard on him earlier. I got him a cup of herbal tea. Herbal tea makes.
Why not?